Oh, hi! This week, I'm going to show you how to attach buttons by hand that you can't use a machine for. And hopefully I do it correctly because I have thought I had it down a couple times and haven't gotten it. So this is kind of like for my own practice. So this is totally the time I should be teaching other people how to do it, is when I'm like 85% confident in my skills. Do you hate hand sewing buttons on? Is it kind of the worst because it takes forever and then they just end up falling off after a first wash anyway? Do I have the trick for you? Oh right, but first, here's what you need. Just kidding, we're making a beer mosa today. Why? Because it's Mother's Day and I have nothing else to nurture other than my love for kind of gross drinks, actually. I honestly think I like the ones I've made with Rolling Rock better than this. Why do I do this to myself? For equipment, you're going to need some kind of garment you're attaching buttons to. I started taking some of these off, these like shitty, plain, uninteresting plastic ones, and adding these like military style buttons. Oh, hello, there's a needle in here. Well, let's get this out of here then. And while I have it here, you're also gonna need a needle and thread. We're not gonna put the thread on like this. We're gonna do something better. Also, the reason I started to spruce up this coat is because I wanted to look like Captain Jack Harkness. This technique is for buttons that you can't use a machine to sew. I mean, I guess you could also hand sew buttons on that you can use a machine for. I will try to remember how to add a title card somewhere up here and show you the video where I show you how to do buttons on a machine. These kind, they're called shank buttons, will not work on a machine. If you try to do these on a machine, it's gonna be a real bad time. Let's get into it. I put my needle down somewhere. That's a good thing to lose. All right, dear comrades. First thing you do is cut off the old shitty buttons that you don't want anything to do with. Or, you know you're just gonna hoard them for another 6 years until they come up for a different project. If you need to stick a pin where the button was just to like keep your place, go for it. Then we're gonna take our thread. The thicker the better, but keep it within reason because you need it to fit through your needle and you need to be able to pull it through all the layers of the fabric. This is a double-breasted jacket, so there's a lot of material to get through. Instead of how I usually do it, where you pull just one single layer of thread up through the needle, a piece of thread folded in half. So at the midpoint, I'm gonna take that part, the little loopy bit, and I'm gonna put that into the needle. So now, instead of just 2 layers of thread, now I have 4 layers, so it's gonna take half the time and be twice as strong. I'm going to do a couple knots at the end with all 4 strands. I'm going to cut anything off after the knot just because there's no need for it. It is useless to us. Now I have my needle and my thread that's quadrupled and a big knot at the end. I'm going to take this from the outside, right where I want the button to be, bring it back up pretty close to where I came down. So through my shank, pull it nice and tight, go back down. So I've done about 4 rounds of going up and down. Now I'm gonna do my one last loop through the shank, bring the needle and thread up to the back. I'm gonna pick up little tiny stitch, and before I pull it all the way through, I'm gonna pull the needle through that loop and then pull that really tight. And then I'm gonna do a couple of French knots. You wanna pull the thread back, make the needle face yourself, loop it around. I've seen people do twice. I think it just depends on how big you want your knot to be. And then you just pick up a little bit of your fabric, put the needle in most of the way, pull your thread nice and tight and keep it there. And pull the rest of your thread all the way through, and then just do one more for security purposes, and then you're done. The way I used to do it is I would cut the thread at the needle and then just knot those 2 separate strands together a million times, where this way you can cut at the button once you're done, tie another knot here, and then start on a next button. It's a huge time saver because you don't have to keep rethreading your fucking needle. And now you have a button and it took like 30 seconds tops. How dope is that? Well, my friends, I hope you are enjoying your Mother's Day. I promised I'd get a video up today, and it's happening. I posted one yesterday that was like a Harry Potter tag just to kind of get back into the groove and catch up on things. If you didn't click the title card, well fuck, it's not called a title card. I don't know what that thing is. The little eye bar that I put in the video earlier, if I figured out how to do it. I will put that video up right here showing you how to use the machine to add buttons to something. And if for some reason you want to support the madness, you can go ahead and check out my Patreon up here. I actually just sent like maybe my favorite mail time perk. And if you want to see me attempt to get back on track with weekly postings, you can go ahead and subscribe up in the whatever corner I didn't put the Patreon link. Now let's get that B-roll.